went and bought myself a new leg vise.
Now, it might not be the biggest vise ever,
and it could definitely use some TLC, but it only cost me £11.50. £11.50!
£11.50!
So let's fix it. Right then, things that need fixing on this leg vise, but not necessarily in this order. We have got a crooked leg. We can't have a crooked leg on a leg vise, so we need to heat this up in the forge, we need to knock it straight. That should be quite an easy job. Coming up to here, we've got a dodgy bolt which actually wobbles in the bracket, which means that the jaws don't evenly line up, but you can sort of push it back up into place. That's how loose that is there. So we might need to re-drill this and fit a larger bolt. The spring needs rebending. It's from this point here, it's not sticking out enough to actually provide the spring required for it to open the jaws. When you turn this, they will open with a bit of gentle persuasion, but not as they should do. The spindle, also slightly bent, so we'll need to hammer that straight as well. This bracket is just, I don't know what they were thinking, whoever fitted this. It's awful, so we need to straighten this out, or we need to do something else with it. I haven't quite decided on that yet, but we'll get to that as and when. The actual spindle itself, I won't be able to do this one-handed, but it looks like the actual spindle itself going into the screw box is in pretty good nick, but it's full of horrible gunk, so that's going to need degreasing, clearing out, and then the whole thing is going to need grinding back and rust converting, because, as you can see, we've got half horrible oil, half rust. It's just knackered. So, got my work cut out for me a little bit. First things first though, let's disassemble the thing and let's get a really good look at what we're dealing with. Well, I had to bend this frame in order to remove that, and I can't actually get the screw box out of the screw eye, because there's a little tiny lip of metal which you can't really pick up on camera, so I'm probably going to have to file that out in order to remove it. And it looks like this edge is rather rusted. I don't know what this stuff is. Looks, delicious. It's alright. Right, having taken a better look at this, I think the first order of business is going to be to put the kink back in the spring, make the spring springy again, to straighten out the leg, and to straighten out the spindle. Hi, worm. See, this has been outside for quite a while and getting very wet, so I'm hoping there won't be any steam explosions. Although it looks like there's a fair bit of water in there, so I may die. Right then, let's straighten a leg. There you go, not sure how well you can see that, but that is now straight as an arrow. Nice little job there. Right, now we'll do the spindle, and we will do the spring. You might be able to tell there's still a slight inward bend, but that's because where the centre of masses is going to be in the middle of this. So it comes down beautifully there. Good little job. Well, wouldn't you know it, I've gone and ran out of gas. Well, in the meantime, in one of the few circumstances where I've actually ran out of gas in my life, I will carry on with the angle grinding and get all of this cleaned up and looking shiny and nice. Right, I don't know how well this is going to be able to be picked up on camera, but in trying to remove the screw box, I was angle grinding back this bump on the end which was sticking out. And as you might be able to see, it's a copperish colour. So it looks like at some point in the past somebody's attempted to do a bit of a botch job repair, and appears to have made quite a mess of it. So I might end up having to actually lose this entire section of the screw box, which would be a shame. Not ideal, but we'll see what we can do. I'll give it a proper clean up and weigh up the options, really. On the plus side, I did manage to get the thing out, which is good. we go, part 2. On a side note, while I'm down here, anybody who's a semi-regular viewer of this channel will have seen me restore and mount this this vise here. And at the time, it was similar to the one I've got at the moment. You know, it was a freestanding, full-size leg vise. And what I did was I chopped the leg off in order to have it at this height and put a tripod frame on it. Now, having done that, I received a fair bit of flack from, let's call them leg vise purists, about how I should not be chopping the leg off, how it's a, you know, a tool specifically designed, it's been designed that way for a reason, etc, etc, etc. I'm going to make a counter-argument. This has been one of the best decisions I made to do with this tool. A tool is only as useful as the use the owner has for it, and this is absolutely perfect. As you've just seen, it's exactly the right level for grinding, it's exactly the right level for if I want to be doing any big hits, any low down, anything like that. So you know what? Don't listen to the haters. If you think you've got a good use for a tool, go ahead and adapt it, because, like I say, it could be the best decision you make. Consider yourself cleaned. That took a really long time. I still need to sort the spring. I still need to straighten the spindle. As you can see, very wonky. This part is a good comparison for how it was compared to how it is now. I don't know whether I want to keep this. I think I might make my own bracket. I might make it out of this, but I really don't like how this looks and how it is. It just... As for the bolt, the problem is that it's very loose in this hole. If I put it in... Oh, difficult one-handed. If I put it in, there is a lot of wiggle room. So what I think I'll probably end up doing is re-drilling this hole. I think this is a 10mm off the top of my head. Looks like a 10mm bolt. So what I might do is drill it with a 12mm and put a 12mm bolt through, and then that should hopefully just bump it up back to where it should be. But that's where we're at for today. Like I say, I've run out of gas for the forge. I don't have a bolt, and I don't have any rust converter, so I need to go and get some, and it's Boxing Day, and that ain't happening. Alright, so I'm going to upload this video as is. I haven't got any gas, I haven't got any rust converter, I need to go and collect all those other bits and pieces I've already mentioned. It probably won't be particularly soon, hopefully within the week, as and when I can get around to it. So stay tuned for part 2 if you're interested, and I'm very grateful as always. If you would like, comment, subscribe, you'd be doing me a huge favour. See you on part 2. Bye bye!